Hey everyone, this is a video about how to multiply a fraction by a whole number. We're going to do a couple together and we're going to talk about how to do these in a word problem. So our example problem is 1/4 times 3. So if you remember, 1/4 is a fraction. This means that it would take 4 pieces to make one whole, and we're using one of those fourths, okay? So when we multiply this, what we're really saying is I've got 1/4, I've got this fraction 3 times, okay? And there's a couple ways that we can look at that. One of the ways that we do that is repeated addition. And the other way that we do that is by drawing a picture. So one thing I want to show you is if we're thinking about what is 1/4, it's anything where if it would take 4 of them to make a whole. So I have a block here that is one whole block. One whole. And what 1/4 means is it would take 4 of these blocks to be the same length as this one whole. Okay? So for my model here, I have 1/4 3 times. So here I have it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. So I have 1/4 and another fourth and another fourth. I could take this model and I could write it as a repeated addition sentence. So I'm just going to take the numbers off of my tiles and put them into an equation. So I would have 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. Okay? And I would add those together. And if you remember from when we learned how to add fractions, fourths is like a unit. So it'd be like saying I have 1 cup of milk, 1 more cup of milk, 1 more cup of milk. What do I have? 3 cups. So cups would be my unit. Here, fourths is my unit. I have 1/4 and 1 more fourth and 1 more fourth. How many of those fourths do I have? I have 1, 2, 3 of those fourths. Okay? A second way that we can represent this equation to get our answer would be to draw it out with a picture or a model. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into fourths because that, again, is the unit I'm dealing with. It does not matter how you divide this as long as your fourths are even. You can do the plus sign across the middle to block it off. You could do your lines this way. It doesn't matter as long as you have done it into 4 equal pieces. So if I'm doing 1/4 times 3 or 1/4 3 times, then I have 1/4 here, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. I don't need all of these. I need 3 of them. So I'm going to say I have 1/4, I have 2 1/4, I have 3 1/4. 1/4, 1/4, 1/4 is 3/4. Okay? All right, we're going to look at another one. We are going to look at a word problem. I'll try to move this so that you can see it a little bit better. It says Bryson ran 1/8 of a mile every day for a week. How far did he run in all? So when we're doing model drawings, our first step is to figure out what the question is asking us. So the question says, how far did he run in all? So my answer will end up being he ran blank miles. Now, I don't have my answer yet because I've not done any math, but I do know that when I finish this question, I will be answering with this statement. He ran however many miles. Okay, so he ran 1/8 of a mile every day for a week. Now, I underlined a week, even though that's not a number, because that is a clue to help me write my equation. Bryson ran 1/8 of a mile every day for a week. How many days are in a week? Yeah, 7 days. So every single day, Monday he ran 1/8 of a mile, Tuesday 1/8 of a mile, Wednesday 1/8 of a mile, every single day for 7 days. So 1/8 of a mile happened 7 times. Okay. Now I want us to go back to that picture we just had. We've got a couple strategies here that we can use. We can use repeated addition if we choose. We can draw a model if we choose. If we have tiles, we can use those. Okay, I'm going to start with the tiles. So on Monday, he ran 1/8 of a mile. On Tuesday, 1/8 of a mile. Wednesday, Thursday. Now, just like in addition, my units, or repeated addition, my units have to be the same. So anytime I'm multiplying anything, I'm repeating a number. So if this were 3 times 7, I would be repeating 3. Since it's 1/8 times 7, I am only using 1/8 over and over and over 7 times. Now let me check and make sure I have enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. What I have done here is to create kind of like the picture model and like the repeated addition. I can pull both from these tiles. So if I were going to write this as a repeated addition, I'm just going to put a plus sign in between each one of these. 1/8 plus 1/8, and I'm going to do that 7 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to count it again to make sure I didn't mess up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I know that if I have 1/8 and one more 8 and one more 8, I'm going to add that top number, add my numerator. That's how many pieces I have. My pieces are eighths. That is my denominator, and that is not changing because that is the unit that I used. I used eighths. Every one of these blue tiles is one of those eighths. How many of those eighths did I use? I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is 7. If I wanted to draw a model of this using the equation, then I would have drawn, I need a better marker. There we go. I would have drawn any shape. I like to use rectangles because they're easier than circles in my opinion. I'm going to cut it awkwardly with my hand upside down into 8 as equal as I could get them pieces. This is 1/8. This is 1/8. This is 1/8 because it is one of the 8 squares that it took to make up my whole shape. So 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. To make the whole, I have all 8 of them. I'm doing 1/8 times 7, so I only need 7 of those. I'm using it 7 times. Here's 1 time, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are shaded out of my 8. So 1/8 times 7 is 7/8. He, Bryson, ran 7/8 miles. You may also see this, he ran 7/8 of a mile because 7/8 is less than 1 whole mile. So remember, when you are multiplying fractions, you have a couple strategies you could use. You could write out your repeated addition sentence, or you could draw out your area model, whichever one works the best for you. I miss you guys and I love you.